another edition of Coach's Corner brought to you by Fats Cafe. I'm your host, Caitlin Grasillo, and joining me today from men's soccer is Coach Ike. Coach, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Caitlin.
So you're coming off your most successful career in school history. Can you talk to us about your feelings from last season going into your new season?
We had a very good season last year, and I think we rode that emotional high for a long period. But now we're back to reality. We got to start over to try to do it again. Fortunately, we returned a core group of the players. So I think I told them yesterday that the celebration is over. Now we got to go back and prove that what we did last year was not a fluke.
Right. Okay. So returning those seniors, obviously a lot of pressure on you to maintain that high status. How do you handle that?
Well, the key thing is trying to get them, because it's tough when you did well. What happens naturally with players, especially college athletes, is they tend to think they're invincible.
Right.
That they can just come back and pick up from where they left off.
Right.
And it just don't work that way. Last year we surprised a lot of teams because they didn't know how much talent we had. Now this year, we cannot surprise anybody. Now they know that we are that good, and everybody will be gunning for us.
Absolutely.
And the fact that we are ranked second going into for the preseason, puts a big target on our back, to do well.
Right. Have you seen anyone that stood out in your eyes during your fall camp so far?
So far, I think some of the key players from last year, I think, of course, they maintained that they're playing at the level that they did last year. So my biggest challenge now is getting them to raise their game. Right. Knowing that, the other teams, they know who we are. Somebody like Jordan Missouri, of course, is naturally talented. Andre Simmond has got some talent. But the new guy we had this year, he was here last year, but he wasn't eligible. Jarrell Smalls. We're hoping that he will be a good replacement for Noel, who was our leading goal scorer. So I'm expecting a whole lot from him. Right.
Okay, so with those players and your newcomers, what are your thoughts going into your two matches at Clayton State this week?
It's one of those things, the first game of the season is always a toss-up. You just don't know which way the ball is going to bounce. Right. But 2 days ago, we had a preseason game at Coker College. And we played well for the most part. But there are still some loopholes here and there that we need to plug. And I'm hoping from yesterday's practice and tonight's practice that we'll be able to, identify where our major weaknesses are. And then tomorrow we'll find out. It's usually, you can never be too ready for your first game. There's always something. Right. But I think we're ready. Right. I'm very excited.
Good. Good. You mentioned Edmund and Jeremy. You didn't have them last season. So what can you expect from those two individually? What do they bring to the team?
Well, Jeremy is an experienced player. He's from Charleston here in South Carolina, and he's probably one of the best in-state players we recruited 3 years ago. And he showed it. He's one of those players that he participated in all the practice through preseason without no injuries, and he continues to do that. And you rarely get an athlete like that. He's a super athlete. And then we have a new goalkeeper from Brazil, Andre Bernardini. So far he's been outstanding, and I hope it carries on through the season.
That was one of my questions. You graduated to goalkeepers, so you had big shoes to fill. So can we expect Andre to replace them?
I think Andre will probably replace what we missed in Josh and Brandon from last year. And then we had Chase Bolton from Arizona. I think he will be a good backup, as well as a young man from Italy, Alessandro Gentile. I think the three of them are solid goalkeepers. And of course we returned Miles Maynard, who again will add a little depth to our bench.
What is the #1 quality you look for in a goalkeeper? What do you prioritize?
Well, in modern soccer, goalkeepers should be able to play with their feet. So they are, considered a sweeper in the back line. In other words, when the team pushes up, a goalkeeper should be able to control the field. If you play the ball back to them, they should be comfortable enough with their feet, to join in the play. And these days, that's a given quality in a goalkeeper. And Andrew brings that, with him. And of course, he's got soft hands. He's just outstanding and great athlete. Good. He's made some incredible saves that I hope he can do during the season. I hope.
Yes. Okay, so aside from your 2 matches coming up at Clayton State, how difficult is your non-conference schedule in your opinion?
Tough. I had very difficult time scheduling some region non-conference games because we did so well last year. So a lot of schools, normally didn't want to schedule us for some reason. And it was tough getting teams. So now all the non-conference teams we have are all ranked teams. Right. So we actually have to prove ourselves this year. It's going to be rough, but to be the best, you got to play the best.
Absolutely. How good do you think your 2 sophomore preseason all-conference players can be this year for you?
As I said at the beginning, those the 2 standout, Jordan Missouri and Andre Simmons. They're just naturally they're talented. Those 2, they're coaches' players. What they have, you can coach. It's not they're naturally gifted, and I think there will be. This will be a breakout season for them. I think there's absolutely no reason why they shouldn't make All-Americans if things goes well. Right. I think they're that good.
Okay, September 9th, we host Pacer Pandemonium against Lenore Rye. Everyone should come. What are your expectations for that match? I
am so excited because this is the one game where I'm hoping that the entire student body will be at the field.
Absolutely.
And as an athlete, that's what you look forward to. Playing on your home field with your home crowd behind you. It doesn't get any better than that. And I'm looking forward to it.
Is there any one team on the schedule besides that game that sticks out to you most, that you're most excited about playing?
Young Harris. They are the top team in our conference. And from last year to now, no team has beaten them. And that is one team that actually beat us last year. There's no questions about that. They were a much better team than we were. And fortunately, we're playing them home this year. So I'm looking forward to that game, to see what we can do. What
do you think we were missing last year? What do you think, do we need to improve on to get the win this time against you?
Well, last year, one was, I think they were a superior team. And then we had to play them on their field, which is Astro Tough, the official field.
Right.
We weren't used to it, and it showed. Then we played them again at the tournament, at the conference tournament finals, on a natural and neutral field. We put up a good fight, and we finally lost in overtime, in the championship game, which, it was a good game. It could have gone either way, and that's when I know that we can play with anybody. We can play with them.
Right, especially coming home, it'll be more comfortable, more welcoming.
On our home field, I'm looking forward to it. I hope, the ball bounces our way this time. Yeah.
Well, Coach, congratulations, because your team was chosen number 2 in preseason in the PBC. What do you think it will take to finish at the top of the league, though?
It will take some work and consistency. I think if I can get the players to play at the level that we did last year, I have no doubt that we will make it. And again, just to be level-headed, last year we went into every game hoping for the best, and we got it. Now this year, my biggest concern again is that some of them feel like they're better than they actually are, and that's a big concern. Trying to get them to calm down, you got to work hard. Yes, level-headed and work hard to get to where you were last year. It's one of those you never know until after your first game.
Well, all you can do is hope to improve and get better.
Exactly.
Now we'll put the focus and spotlight on you. We're doing a new segment called 3 Things You Don't Know. So we've already interviewed all the student athletes, Now it's your turn, Coach. So what are 3 things we don't know about Coach Ike?
Oh, gosh. Maybe one, that I'm not as tough as I look.
Oh, okay.
And I think I found out with my 2 girls that I'm a little bit on the softy side rather than the mean look that I portray on the outside.
Well, that's good. Might be good to come across that way, though.
Yeah, it helps me in some ways.
Yes.
Because it protects my integrity. Like, my word is my bond. When I say stuff, I mean it. You know, but sometimes it's tough when I deal with young kids because first they think they get a little scared dealing with me. But when they get to know me, you know, I'm just
the best of both worlds.
I'm just cool. Gee, what else that people don't know about me? Gee. Well, that I've been here going to 20 years in Aiken, and I loved it. And for the past 10 years, I've been the president of the Nigerian group in the area. We have a small group of Nigerians that live here, you know, about 10 to 15 families. And I've been the president of that group all this time. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, we do a lot of things in the community, and I take pride in that.
Absolutely.
Gee.
Third one's a charm.
That's right. The third thing people don't know about me. Gee.
Did you always grow up just playing soccer, or did you do anything else?
I grew up playing soccer, and again, that's probably one of the things that, where I grew up, I wasn't supposed to make it, you know, because the odds were stacked against anybody who, you know, in my neighborhood, you know, you grew up being what your parents were.
Right.
And my parents, they never went to school, they never, you know, they were not rich. And playing soccer was my ticket out of that neighborhood. And apparently, the first time my dad ever knew what I did, because they had no clue, the first time he ever knew what I did was when he saw me on TV shaking the governor's hand, the governor of my state.
Oh, wow.
And that, you know, my dad, as tough as he was, you know, it brought tears to his eyes. And actually, and when I got home, that was the first time he's ever hugged me and actually shook my hand.
So proud.
When I think about it, I still get a bit emotional, you know, and it was good for me.
It's a great moment.
Yeah, it was, and after that, I knew that something good will happen to my life, and from then, the rest was history. I made it to the national team and played for one of the top soccer clubs in Nigeria and in Africa as a whole before coming to college, and here I am.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us today, Coach. And of course, we'd like everyone to come out to Pacer Fandemonium next Wednesday, September 9th, against Lenore-Rhine.
That's right. Thank you.
That wraps up another edition of Coach's Corner, brought to you by Fats Cafe with Coach Ike. I'm your host, Caitlin Grasillo. Thank you for watching.